are crows as good at talkers as ravens are, or is it different?
I'm not sure. I've heard the crows do mimic to some extent, but maybe not quite as well. Bert Heinrich is one of the leading experts on crows and ravens, particularly ravens. And he's got a book, Mind of the Raven. Look for those at the library and read it. I think it's not quite as good. You know, ravens have been important in legends and throughout history. For some cultures, ravens are the messenger of death because they're seen on battlefields. They're scavengers and they'll eat dead meat. They are also known as the bearers of wisdom. I think in the Bible they talk about the raven being sent out. In Norse legends, there was wisdom and knowledge, I think, rode on the shoulders of Odin, the god. And the British Empire says that if the ravens leave the Tower of London, the British Empire will fail. So they actually have one of their beefeater guards that is in charge of the ravens at the Tower of London. We went over, my husband and I went to England a few years ago when we were having the very intense worry about avian influenza spreading around the world. And so I was concerned would we get to see the ravens, and we got into our tour group. And I said to him, do you think we'll get to see to the guy, will we get to see the ravens? He said, see that? I'm the Raven Master. He showed me the insignia on his sleeve. He said, you will see the ravens. So I had a good chance to talk with him. And he told us a story that one of the ravens had bit a distinguished visitor and was court-martialed and banned from the Tower of London to a zoo out in Wales. So kind of a funny thing. Yes, the raven will bite the hand that feeds him. Even though he knows me and he loves me, he will still turn around and catch you just when you think he... That's my tune too, but I turned it off, so I'm calling it. Yes?
So the ravens are scavengers, and do the crows, are they scavengers as well, to the same degree?
Yes, you see, that's why you see a dead squirrel on the road, you see the crows or the ravens there with them, and you know, it's one of the reasons we have so much roadkill, because they don't always get out of the way. Yeah.
Do you know what, we have a huge flock of crows that come in our neighborhood, and they have a walnut tree a couple of, about a block away. They get those walnuts off of the tree, bring them over, drop, and I'm in a mobile home park. They drop them on the roofs, trying to crack them. And I got the brilliant idea that I was going to put a rubber snake up on the roof of the carport to keep the crows from dropping walnuts. One day I came home, there were like 30 of them lined across the pitch of my roof, chattering about the snake. It didn't do any good.
Right. Ravens have been very documented on how much they can learn. There's been one study where there was a worm of some sort in a beaker of water, and he couldn't reach it, but he, after walking around several times, picked up rocks and put it in until the water level rose enough that he could get it. Another one that Bert Heinrich has done is, and I've done it with him, you hang a string from a perch and where he can't reach the item that's at the bottom of the string. The raven will pull it with his beak and step on it. Pull it with his beak and step on it till he gets the item. They're one of the few birds that has the time to play. You see, PBS had a wonderful movie on ravens rolling down either a snow-covered roof or a hillside and then flying back up just to roll back down again. they'll work with a team. If there's a dog with his dog food, the one raven will sneak up, pull the tail, the dog turns, the other one zips in and gets the food. And then they share. They will cache their food, and they seem to remember where they cache their food. Cache meaning hiding. My granddaughter did a science fair project on the hypothesis that a raven, given the choice of 4 different items, would choose the oval item because it resembles an egg more times than he would the other items. So we got a round, we got a square, we got an acorn, and we got the oval. And we proved her hypothesis that he would pick that oval repeatedly. She did that for her part of the project, and she got an award, and they wanted her to go on to the next level of the competition. But they said, you have to have more than one raven in your study. And I said, well, don't really have another raven to work with. And one of the teachers, dead seriously, said, oh, I've got plenty in my trees, I'll get you one. But I was able to help Elizabeth get contacts with Nancy Connie, who does Sky Hunters, with the Living Desert, and with a couple of other sources. And she, so she ended up with, I think, 7 different ravens, and proved the same hypothesis. They will choose the oval because it resembles the egg, even though it had no food value to it. Or Carol.
What behavior does the bird have that demonstrates his attraction to you?
What does he have that I know he likes me? Well, when I go out to see him every morning, he greets me with a stick in his beak. When I'm in his enclosure, if I usually have brought his breakfast. He really can care less about the food. I can set it right here. He doesn't want it. He wants to come and sit on my arm. I preen his feathers. I stroke his beak. And right now, that's what normally goes on all year. Right now, he does the flap, 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 and the tail shudder bit. But yeah, and if one of our other volunteers is out to work with him, I have to go in the house and just stay away because he will pay no attention to the other volunteer. He looks at me. What does she want? Should I do something? So, I have talked to your ears off here, but yeah.
How are they with their mates? Do they mate for life?
Yes, they do mate for life.
Crows?
Yeah, I believe they crows also if the opportunity presents itself. If not, they will, something has happened.
We had a crow, it's hard for me to tell, in our neighbor's tree. He had a broken wing. So we were going to call Project Wildlife, and then noted that the husband, the mate, or another one, was bringing her food, and this went on for like a year. And
wow.
Great. Until the flock discovered that she couldn't protect the food that well. So one day they came in and really tried to take the food away from her. And the mate was standing up for her.
Wow.
It was really, really cool. And then she just disappeared.
Yeah, had she been able to have been rehabbed, maybe the wing would have recovered. Project Wildlife does try to put the bird or the animal back into the neighborhood it came from for just that reason. They do tend to mate for life, so if it came from University City, we're going to put that bird back in University City, if we can. Now, my husband's church down in Linda Vista had an infestation with opossums. And the neighborhood was just so built up, it was not a good place for the opossums to be released back. And so they ended up going to, I think, San Marcos to a avocado ranch or something. It was great. But anyway, you've been great, but I think you have other things to do today. And so I will zip. Carol has my email. She can email other comments or questions that you have. And I'll be glad to try to find the right answer for you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.